Hi, my name is Julie Finzel, and I am your UC Cooperative Extension Livestock and Natural Resources Advisor serving Kern, Tulare, and Kings counties. I will be reviewing Worksheet 7, Future Water Quality Planning Projects. Worksheet 7 is part of the Ranch Water Quality Plan template. When you complete Worksheet 7 and the other worksheets in the template, you will have your Ranch Water Quality Plan complete. This is what Worksheet 7 looks like. It is a table setup so that a specific water quality concern and the actions you are considering can be listed. Your first step is to review your ranch maps in Worksheets 4 and 5 so you can recall project opportunities. Another useful source of information is Worksheet 6 that you used to list projects and practices that you have already done. Worksheet 7 is completed at the onset of developing your overall plan and is a critical step for you and your ranch. It should be revisited on an annual basis along with Worksheet 6 to make it the most useful. If you have implemented a project identified on Worksheet 7, you can move it to Worksheet 6. Also, if you have anything you want to add to Worksheet 7, you can do that every year when you update your plan. Rainy days are a great time to update your ranch water quality plan. Let's work through the Worksheet 7 table with some examples so you can see how to complete it for your ranch. Remember to have Worksheets 4, 5, and 6 and your ranch maps handy to help you remember locations and projects you wanted to take on and to make any notes you might need. Be sure to use one row for each water quality concern and project you are considering. And keep in mind that these concerns and actions do not necessarily indicate that livestock grazing or current management are the cause. There are natural causes of erosion too. For example, here is a situation where a gully has developed on an unstable hill slope. The underlying geology is the primary cause of the erosion. What we can't see in this picture is the road just upslope of this gully, and in this case, the project opportunity could be to remove any upslope road drainage from running onto the site to avoid conditions that might increase the erosion here or slow the natural healing process. Erosion control and repair of the gully could also be a goal if there is a high potential for the gully to keep eroding. When making a decision about possible erosion control projects, it is important to consider potential risk to property and stream water quality from eroded sediment and continued growth of the gully. If the eroded sediment is being directly delivered to the stream, or the expansion of the gully is posing a significant risk in pasture or infrastructure loss, then this may be a project you choose to address, even though the primary cause is natural. Filling out the worksheet for this site will look like this. Remember to use one row for each potential project. We'll enter a number for each site, and then we'll describe the conditions. In this case, we document the gully formation and the soil erosion. For location, put whatever works best for you and your ranch. When we're putting down ideas for fixing a site, we want to list methods that are possible and that make sense. In this case, we might try to remove any upslope road drainage, and we can decide if any erosion control is warranted in the gully. For a cost estimate, this is really just your first cost estimate or your initial guess of how much it might take to fix the erosion. Changing and removing road drainage may require some road-based material and a couple of days of work to change where water comes off any upslope roads. Gully repair can be expensive, so putting a starting point like greater than $25,000 is a good place to start. We will come back to the priority column in a minute. For implementation planning, an easy first step is to check your road drainage for any road runoff that is being routed to this gully. Another step for both the road work and the gully repair is to research possible cost share programs for financial and technical assistance. The Natural Resource Conservation Service and your local Resources Conservation District are both options for cost share programs. Let's switch to a different site and potential project. Here, significant road runoff channeled through a culvert is eroding the hillside. This is a site that requires attention because current management is largely the cause. When we're filling out the form, we'll follow the same steps, including the number. We'll describe the erosion below the culvert, and we'll be sure to include a location name that makes sense to us. Project options could include reworking the drainage on the road so that it slopes out, and breaking of the runoff outfalls along the upslope portion of the road. This will reduce the concentrated flow and the erosion potential. The cost for this work will depend upon the length of the road needing to be changed, and as a result, the amount of material needed will also be influenced by the amount of road needing to be changed. Be sure to consider the cost of any heavy equipment operation needed for road improvement work. As a starting point, we're going to put about $5,000 and up to a week of work. From time to time, your local Natural Resources Conservation Service will have programs for doing road project assessments and repairs. Learning about these programs could be a first step for implementation, so this is what we put on the form. Okay, how about one more project? Here's a stream crossing for livestock on a small stream that flows in the winter and goes dry in the summer. Livestock have access daily, even in the winter, with resulting erosion and manure deposition. This project needs attention because the primary cause is management and because of the water quality risks and impacts. Again, we'll number the site, we'll describe the site and the livestock use, put a location name that makes sense to us. This site could benefit from a combination of stream fencing along the stream length and also gates at the crossings. This will help in moving animals from one side of the stream to the other and reduce their access to the crossing and channel to only when they are being moved. The cost and time will depend upon the length of the stream to fence, what fencing materials are already on hand, and if you will be doing the work or hiring it out. For today's purposes, we estimated more than $2,500 and about a week's worth of work. Keep in mind that these projects can be cost-shared too. For implementation, measuring fence lengths and designing the layout of the fence and gates on both sides of the stream are a good first step. The last step in completing Worksheet 7 is to prioritize the concerns and projects you have listed. To do this, you will want to weigh what you can accomplish in the near term with minimal cost and time against which projects will provide the biggest improvement to ranch and water quality conditions. As you are prioritizing, this is a good time to contact the local Natural Resources Conservation Service and Resource Conservation District offices to learn about technical and financial assistance programs they have to help with implementation. Prioritizing projects should consider the cost and complexity of the projects. Simpler, less expensive projects, and ones you can do yourself, generally can be done sooner. Also, projects that are caused by current management should be addressed ahead of those caused by natural and historic factors. There are always exceptions to these rules of thumb. For example, there may be a cost share program this year, and a more expensive project that requires engineering and permits could move up in the order. And an eroding stream bank caused by stream flow and geology may be more important to address even though current management is not the cause, because important pasture or ranch buildings are at risk. For the 3 sites we looked at, the Hillside Gully was listed third because it is remote and not management influenced. The culvert erosion was listed second. This is management caused, making it important to work on. But a little more thinking and research is needed to determine if there is more erosion potential or if the majority of erosion has already taken place. Also, the cost and complexity of the project will likely require some financial and technical assistance. The stream crossing site is prioritized as number 1 because it is influenced by current management and either through fencing or herding distribution decisions can be addressed easily. With worksheets 1 through 7 and your ranch maps finished, your ranch water quality plan is now complete. Remember that when you complete projects from Worksheet 7, move them to Worksheet 6 as documentation of what you have done. Thank you for your time, and congratulations on having a ranch water quality plan you can implement.
You can find more informative presentations covering ranch water quality topics on the UC Rangelands website, and look for the Water Quality Information Hub or direct your web browser to the URL shown on this slide.